Commissioners, members of the executive branch, good evening and welcome to the annual City of the City Address. The city charter states, the mayor shall communicate to the city commission and to the general public a statement of the affairs and management of the city each January and may make recommendations regarding these matters. Our city charter was adopted in 1976 and it states, Helena, Montana is the proud seat of our state government. It is a community with a colorful past and a vibrant future. There is an openness and basic decency that beckons each of our citizens to contribute to its unique identity. This beautiful city is governed by a diverse, hardworking city commission. I want to thank you and recognize all city employees for all they've done to contribute to the success of this city. Thank you on behalf of the commission. The city commission and city staff are two parts that make the city what it is. However, we could not accomplish all we do without the various advisory boards. I want to recognize the members of the various advisory boards. They give hundreds of hours of free time to make the city run. We thank you, and I want to especially recognize the members of the Helena Citizens Council. This city commission sincerely appreciates all your hard work. In addition to the efforts of all who work with the city organization, the city values those who tirelessly work to make the community grow. It is a time we acknowledge the fact that Helena has a thriving business community. Therefore, we must support those policies and initiatives that will continue to develop a strong and diverse economy. It is important that we recognize the day-to-day work of the city and not take it for granted. We've continued to deliver essential services to our community of Helena, plowing the streets, fixing potholes, responding to emergency calls, patrolling the community, collecting garbage, etc. However, I also want to recognize several accomplishments from 2022. We'll start with the city manager's office. The city manager's office was focused on stabilizing city operations in 2022. The interim city manager presented the commission with a balanced fiscal year 2023 budget that focused on employees, providing a significant cost of living adjustment to boost recruitment and retention. Under the guidance of the city manager's office, the city presented the commission with a complete review of each department's capital improvement plan. The city manager's office also developed a structured, deliberate, transparent process for allocating ARPA funds. The goals this year, in 2023, the city manager's office will focus on continuing to stabilize city operations by providing consistent direction and clear priorities. The office will also manage the process of allocating the city's remaining $2.7 million in ARPA funds. Community development. The city took important steps with new housing programs through its community development department, including launching the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. The community development team is also supported the First Home Renewal Program project, which helped fund health and safety related home improvements for low-income households. The community development department granted a building fee waiver of approximately $30,000 for costs associated with rehabilitating 44 units affordable to community members at or below 60% area median income. City staff also completed over 4,700 inspections in 2022. The City Planning Division moved forward important updates to Helena zoning regulations, land use tables, and definitions. Some of the goals for the Community Development Department. The city will continue its efforts to support affordable housing initiatives. Staff hope to complete another home renewal program while providing the first funding from the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Finance Department. The Finance Department was busy in 2022 refining the annual budget development process. The city received its 33rd consecutive GFAO, Certificate of Achievement Award, for its annual comprehensive financial report. This award represents months of collaborative teamwork of the entire staff in the Finance Department and partnering with all divisions of the city to collect necessary data that is accurate and timely. The finance team has been working to improve customer service efforts through several initiatives, including processing electronic payment for eligible vendors, improving our cash receipting processes, streamlining the digitizing liability claims, property claims, and incident reports. Goals: finance continue to lead the citywide software replacement project, with implementation kicking off this month. This process will be critical for improving efficiencies and modernization customer service across the city. This full address will be made available upon the conclusion of our City Commission meeting this evening. Fire. Some of the accomplishments of the Fire Department. The Helena Fire Department was incredibly busy in 2022, responding to over 4,700 calls, which is up from 4,200 calls in 2021. The department managed record calls volume despite dealing with several injuries and retirements throughout the year. The fire department new fire inspector position has been instrumental in instituting the inspection reports online. In addition to its response effort, the fire department also completed its master plan. The document is being utilized to create short, medium, and long-term work plans for the department. Mount Helena Fire in August. Some of the goals for the fire department in 2023. The fire department planning committee is working on an executive summary of the master plan and will provide those findings to the commission in the coming months. The fire department wildland firefighting capabilities and need for a breathing air compressor will rise to priority in the capital improvement plan as the budget process continues to develop. Parks, recreation, and open lands. The Parks Division completed several improvement projects, including the pedestrian mall, Kendrick Field, and the Memorial Park playground. Staff also completed a massive renovation project at Barney Park, which included a new tennis and pickleball courts and basketball court. The city continued work at the fire tower with contractors completing plans for reconstruction and developing a list of needed materials for restoration. Civic Center. The Civic Center made great strides in returning to normal operations, welcoming nearly 75,000 visitors for events, with almost 100 different events hosted in 2022. Recreation. The City Recreation Division continued offering its many popular public services in 2022. Some of the city recreation highlights include hosting over 22,000 visitors last year in Splash and Pool, and over 1,100 kids taking swimming lessons. Over 5,000 people used the outdoor ice rink, including several ice skating and curling classes for the community. The K-Kids program was successful in providing free programs and activities for 80+ children per day throughout the summer. Golf course. Bill Robert Golf Course experienced a busy 2022 season. Between golf leagues and tournament, cross-country running meets, cross-country skiing, and even disc golf. The golf course overcame several challenges at Muni's restaurant, such as staffing to build solid momentum by the end of the year, throughout the fall and start of winter. Munis have been busy. The junior program at Bill Roberts had over 70 participants, which was an increase of 20 kids from 2021. Additionally, Bill Roberts is proud to support a number of important community events. The golf course supports Special Olympics, training for athletes wanting to pursue golf. Bill Roberts hosted his first free golf clinic for underprivileged kids in honor of Wayne Hambeck. The clinic was attended by 21 participants. The golf course is also the site for the Disabled American Veterans Golf Tournament, which raised $110,000 to support local DAV Foundation. Police. The police department overcame substantial staffing issues in 2022. While continuing to serve the city at its highest level, after starting the year with 8 vacant police officers' positions, the department is near full staffing and expect to have all officer positions filled by mid-2023. In 2022, Police Department was also committed to expanding its community engagement. The department held its second Citizen Academy and now is talking about having an advanced academy for Helena citizens that attended the first and second Citizens Academies. Well, you're lucky there, Commissioner. The police department also hosted a first coffee with a cop since before COVID-19 pandemic began. The department also hosted the first ever Kurt Stenson Memorial Blood Drive in honor of the late Assistant Chief Stenson. The police department was able to finalize an agreement with the Helena School District for its school resource officer program. This agreement supports a partnership between City of Helena and the Helena School District by improving school and law enforcement collaboration and ultimately providing a safe learning environment for our students. Some of the goals. The leadership is working closely with the Helena Police Association to implement and maintain a mental health program with the department for our officers and support staff. This program has started, but we are hoping to make the program more robust in 2023. Community engagement will remain one of the police department's primary focuses, along with public safety. The police department will strive to make sure the department is keeping and developing positive community partnerships. The 911 Center is also planning on bringing back a successful public safety open house that showcases the work of dispatchers for the public. Public Works. Wastewater treatment. The city's wastewater treatment plant celebrated the 12th consecutive successful quarterly whole effluent toxicity test, which marks the longest stretch in facility history. Sustainability. Sustainability continues to be a priority for the city, with strategic planning and education a focus in 2022. The city completed a strategic plan for waste reduction thanks to significant public involvement. The city created informational videos on proper recycling practices, water conservation, and the city water systems. Finally, the city participated in the National Mayor Challenge for Water Conservation and ranked highest of the 7 major Montana cities. Some of the goals of public work will be busy with projects in 2023. Thanks to an influx in funding through ARPA, the projects which will improve the Helena drinking water system includes replacing the 10-mile Creek diversion structures, replacing the water treatment filters at the 10 Mile plant, repairing the Red Mountain film, replace the valve on the Crosstown connector main. The city will add new electric vehicle charging stations in 2023 with projects at the Jackson Street Garage and Golf Course. Transportation systems. The transportation team led the reconstruction of 6 blocks of Rodner Street in phase 2 of the project. The city also helped improve accessibility around Helena, installing 56 ADA ramps. The street division was busy in 2022, completing over 47,000 square miles of mill and overlay work, while also repairing an estimated 1,650 potholes. Street also graded approximately 160 alley blocks in 2022. Helena parking. The city parking services saw an increase in revenue and use in 2022. Parking reported over 190,000 transactions throughout the year, which is up by 13,000 from 2021. The parking division also helped process 83 special events applications to hold events in city right-of-ways and properties. The transportation system teams will be busy in 2023 with projects and studies include move forward with recent designs for a roundabout and enhanced pedestrian crossing at many malfunction junctions. Moving forward, the Custer Avenue reconstruction program. Put in service the city new electric street sweeper. The Fleet Division plans to implement a new citywide vehicle replacement schedule. City Transport will continue evaluating expansions of services to Helena, North, and West Valley, and possibly extending the service days or hours of operations. Parking will be rolling out online payment options for permits and parking tickets. In conclusion, Helena continues to work with many partners, including Lewis and Clark County, the state of Montana, the city of East Helena, YMCA, Helena Food Share, Helena National Forest Service, Helena Housing Authority, Rocky Mountain Development Council, United Way, YWCA, Helena Regional Airports, and many others. While we continue to work with our partners to improve our growing city, we must recognize the great deal of work that is ahead of us. We must boldly tackle those issues such as affordable housing for our vulnerable populations and public safety, while still reflecting the principles and charitable characters of our citizens. Together with our partners, we will accomplish these goals and more, while still tending to our fiscal responsibilities and in service to those who entrusted these decisions to us. As the city charter states, Helena is the proud seat of our state government, and as such, it should strive to be the model for the future of our great state. Ladies and gentlemen, the state of affairs of the city of Helena remains strong. I thank you all, and I'm looking forward to serving you in the next couple of years. God bless this city, state, and these United States. Thank you. Okay, we'll now move into our City of Helena City. City of Helena City Commission meeting, January 9th, 2023, 6 p.m. This meeting is called to order. Madam Clerk, would you take the roll, please?
Acting City Attorney Hawkluck.
Here.
Interim City Manager Burton.
Here.
Commissioner Dean.
Here.
Commissioner Logan. Commissioner Reed.
You're on mute, Commissioner.
Here.
Commissioner Shurtleff.
Here.
Mayor Collins.
Here. Would you rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The minutes for 7/22/22, 7/25/22, 8/8/22, 12/5/22, 12/5/22 were received. Do we have any corrections? If not, they will stand as submitted. Presentations. Do we have our fire chief around? Chief? Oh, you can just take the mic. So I don't want that mic in front of me, so.
That's right. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. This evening we have a brief presentation to bring to your attention the promotion of 2 lieutenants and captain, as well as 2 fire department employees that have met their probation and are ready for their oath of office. Mr. Mayor, if you please, I would like to do a badging for our promoted officers. Gentlemen, if you come forward, please.
Are you part of that?
Oh, within the last few months, we had Lieutenant Matt Welch and Captain Scott Bachman retire. That put us in a position to go through promotional process for 2 lieutenants and promote one of our lieutenants to a captain. Starting off with Lieutenant Dave Maslowski, he's been with the fire department for 9 years. Mr. Mayor, if you'd please do the honor. Mr. Mayor, next we have Lieutenant Steve Finstead, been with Helena Fire for nearly 14 years. Captain Louis McGeady, been with Helena Fire for 14 years. I'll shake their hands. Thank you. Congratulations, gentlemen. All right, thank you. You guys can have a seat. Mr. Mayor, now we have the oath of office for 2 additional fire department employees, 1 Deputy Fire Marshal Kurt Sheehan, and then also myself, having now met my year of probation as the fire chief.
So what we'll do is we'll go to Deputy Fire Marshal first. Mr. Mayor. Do you want me to talk? Okay. Okay, sir, would you raise, oath of office, would you raise your right hand, please? I,
I,
your name,
Kurt Sheehan,
recognize my obligation as a member of the fire department
recognize my obligation as a member of the fire department
for the city of Helena
for the city of Helena
to protect and serve
to protect and serve
life and property of the public I serve.
life and property of the public I serve,
And I do solemnly swear
and I do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Montana,
the Constitution of the state of Montana,
and that I will faithfully
and I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office of Deputy Fire Marshal
of the office of Deputy Fire Marshal
for the City of Helena Fire Department,
for the city of Helena Fire Department,
according to the best of my abilities and understanding.
according to the best of my abilities and understanding.
Congratulations. Commissioner Logan should be putting these things on. Okay, Chief. Oath of office. Would you raise your right hand, please? I
I, John Campbell,
recognize my obligation
recognize my obligation
as a member of the fire department
as a member of the fire department
for the city of Helena
for the city of Helena
to protect and preserve life
to protect and preserve life
and property of the public I serve.
and property of the public I serve.
And I do solemnly swear
And I do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United
and
States
the Constitution of the State of Montana,
and the Constitution of the state of Montana.
and that I will faithfully
And I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office of Fire Chief
of the office of fire chief
for the City of Helena Fire Department
for the city of Helena Fire Department,
according to the best of my abilities and understanding.
according to the best of my abilities and understanding.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting used to this thing now.
That's why I went last. I wanted you to get some practice. Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. Okay, commissioners, what have you?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I'd just like to say congratulations to all, from Chief Campbell, Deputy Fire Marshal Sheehan, Captain Mangini, Lieutenants Finstad and Maslowski. I'd say to the city manager, you've got some pretty good leadership coming and in position, and thank you to all of you for your willingness to step into those positions of service. Thanks.
Any others?
Mr. Mayor, just echo Commissioner Logan's comments. Congratulations. After spending the last few months on the fire department planning committee, I have an even greater respect for everything that you all do. And so I'm very grateful for the service you provide our community every single day. And congratulations.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Reed.
I just want to echo what has already been said. Congratulations and thank you for your service.
Mr. Mayor, and I'd like to extend my congratulations to the newly promoted team with our Helena Fire Department. Thank you for keeping our community safe and strong. And welcome, Chief Campbell. Congratulations to you. Thanks again for all you do. I've only been here a short time, but I've had the opportunity to ride along and visit with some of you, and I appreciate the work you do every day. Thanks.
I'll also echo what my fellow commissioners have said. We appreciate all that you do. Know that your work is important, and the community appreciates you. Thank you. Board appointments. I am recommending the following board appointments. Board and committee assignments for the mayor and commissioners. Mayor Wilmot Collins, Helena Public Arts, City County Board of Health, Civic Center Steering Committee. Commissioner Emily Dean, Mayor Pro Temp, Business Improvement District, Audit Committee, Transportation Compliance Committee, Behavioral Health Local Advisory Committee. Commissioner Sean Logan, Audit Committee, Chamber of Commerce, ITNS Board, City County Parks Board, Transportation Coordinating Committee. Commissioner Melinda Reed, ADA Compliance Committee, Audit Committee. Commissioner Andy Shirtley, Board of Adjustment, Montana Business Assistant Connection, Non-Motorized Driver Advisory Committee. Helena Public Arts Committee, reappointment of Jeannie Warden to a second term on the Helena Public Arts Committee. Term will expire December 31st, 2025. Reappointment of Maxwell Hay to a first term of the Helena Public Arts Committee. Term will expire December 31st, 2025. With that, Commission discussion, what say you?
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to note a clarification if there might possibly be any confusion. There are 3 people on our committee list that are appointed to the audit committee, and I just want to clarify that that third appointment is if one of the other 2 commissioners can't happen to make that meeting, so that we always ensure that the audit committee can be fully staffed by the commission.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
I will move the following board and committee assignments for the mayor and commissioners. Mayor Wilmot Collins, Helena Public Art Committee, City County Board of Health, Civic Center Steering Committee, Commissioner Emily Dean, Mayor Pro Tem, Business Improvement District, Audit Committee, Transportation Compliance Committee, Behavioral Health Local Advisory Committee, Commissioner Sean Logan, Audit Committee, Chamber of Commerce, ITNS Board, City County Parks Board, Transportation Coordinating Committee, Commissioner Melinda Reed, ADA Compliance Committee, Audit Committee, and Commissioner Andy Shirtliff, Board of Adjustments, Montana Business Assistance Connection, Non-Motorized Travel Advisory Committee. For the Helena Public Arts Committee, the reappointment of Jeannie Warden to a second term on the Helena Public Art Committee. Term will expire December 31st, 2025. And the reappointment of Maxwell Hay to a first term on the Helena Public Art Committee. Term will expire December 31st, 2025.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion from the commission? You know, we jump over public comments. Do we have any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, do you have any online? Okay, any final discussion from the commission? If not, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Dean.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Shirtliff.
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Consent agenda. Director Danielson?
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioner. We're asking that you move to approve claims from November 23rd, 2022 through December 30th, 2022. Checks numbered 191,385 to 192,107, and 8 electronic clearinghouse payments for a grand total of $5,910,137.99.
Comments or questions from the commission? Any public comments? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I will move the consent agenda item A claims.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Dean.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Shirtliff.
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Consider a resolution of intention to establish fees to be charged for the Bill Roberts Municipal Golf Course for the 2023 season. Director Danielson, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. At our last administrative meeting, we brought forward a financial update for the Bill Roberts Golf Course and discussed the establishment of some fee increases that were very well thought out with the golf board, that were passed through the Golf Advisory Board and recommended by the Golf Advisory Board. And in addition to that, we prepared a draft budget that represented some incremental revenue that would be representative of the fee increases. And tonight we have before you the resolution of intention to move forward with the public hearing process to establish the fee schedule that was proposed for the Bill Roberts Golf Course. I am available for any questions if you have any.
Thank you. Comments or questions from the commission? Public comments? Madam Clerk, do we have any online?
Mr. Mayor, I have no online public comment.
I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I would move to approve a resolution of intention to establish fees to be charged for the Bill Roberts Municipal Golf Course for the 2023 season.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Dean.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Shertliff.
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Consider an ordinance establishing burning regulations within the city of Helena.
Mr. Mayor, do we want to go back to communications from commissioners before we jump into regular items?
Oh, damn, I jumped over a lot of stuff. I didn't
That's
even
okay.
wait that. Oh, man, I was on the roll. Okay. Commission proposals from the, commissioners, what say you? Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Report of the city attorney?
Oh, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
sorry if I might.
Oh, please, go ahead.
Thank you. Just a question. I don't know if Director Kanapke is there, but we have received a couple of questions from the community regarding an update on the flashing beacon on Broadway outside Jefferson School with the increase in traffic and whether it's appropriate to have that update now or at a future meeting. I think it would be good to have some information about where we are with the installation of that beacon. Thank you.
Yes, Director Kanapke is here, and Director, do you want to say a few words, or we can? He's walking up to the podium.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. The update on that rectangular rapid flash beacon it was supposed to be installed by the end of the year. The week that they had slated for the concrete was that week that was so cold, and they elected to wait in better weather. We've been in contact with them last week to get a estimated date, and we're hoping to get that installed in the next this week or next coming weeks. It'll go in as soon as we can get the contractor out there. The rectangular rapid flash beacon is here, so they just need to pour the foundation, let that cure for a few days, and then they can install the light and make it operational.
Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a brief update. We, late last week, received an update from Communication and Management Services regarding our city manager recruitment process, and for the public's benefit, I just thought I'd give a little bit of an update. And it sounds as though there are over 14 applicants at this point. The commission is to receive training this week on how we are to process through those applications given CMS's structure, and they've got some training for us in the upcoming week, and just kind of want to let the public know that. So, thanks.
Thank you. I'm still confused. How did
Mr. Mayor.
jump over all this? Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This question is going to be, or commentary is going to be directed at Director Konopky. I received a couple of emails and calls from our friends in our sister city of East Helena regarding the bus service between both towns, and they had requested communication between our city and their city if anything were to happen like that again. I'd said I'd make mention of it during the meeting, but I expressed to them that Director Konopky and his team are doing the best they can. They learned about the same time we all did, so it was very sudden, but it just shows that we're all being affected by staffing at this moment, not just the private sector, but the public sector. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the commission? Okay, city attorney report.
Mayor, Commissioners, I have a short update tonight about the TSIT case, which is the Treasure State case. The city has entered into a settlement agreement under which all claims are withdrawn. The case will be dismissed with prejudice as fully settled upon the merits. And unless there are any questions, that's all I have tonight.
Thank you. City manager's report.
Mayor, Commissioners, I have nothing to report this evening.
Thank you. Communications from Helena Citizens Council. Madam Clerk, do we have Ms. Hammer online?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm Diana Hammer, Helena Citizens Council representative, and I'm also the council secretary. I have 3 things for you tonight for the HCC update. First of all, I wanted to thank the commission for providing funds for the Henderson Street Bridge feasibility study and partial design. This is an issue that HCC has heard about from our constituents and fully supported the recommendation to provide the funding. So thank you for your support to provide better and safer pedestrian and biking access for our community. Secondly, the chair of the Helena Citizens Council, along with the executive committee of the HCC, wishes to reaffirm that the following members have been appointed by the HCC chair and approved by the HCC to serve on these Helena advisory boards. For HOLMAC, the Helena Open Lands Management Advisory Committee, TJ Lehman. HPAC, the Helena Public Art Committee, Paige Myers. The Non-Motorized Travel Advisory Committee is Lowell Chandler. Transportation Coordinating Committee, Joe Lehman. Water Quality Protection District is myself, Diana Hammer. Citizen Conservation Board, Denise Roth-Barber. Fire Department, Elizabeth Gerhardt. And these persons are officially HCC members until the new election in November 2023, at which time the newly elected HCC members will begin their 2-year term in January of 2024. And then finally, but I want to elaborate on that a little bit. Some members of the HCC have been wondering about the exact legal basis for the city determining the terms of service for HCC reps on city advisory boards, such as the Conservation Board. And this is relevant as the resolution regarding the CCB is next on the commission agenda. So as currently written, my understanding is that the resolution would limit the HCC rep, which is appointed by the HCC, not the commission, to a 1-year term with no consecutive terms allowed. So I just want to note that this goes against established HCC bylaws and procedures, as well as being asynchronous with the elected terms of HCC members. So I wanted to point that out. And then finally, the third point, HCC will be electing its officers for 2023 at our next meeting on January 25th. Thank you for the opportunity to provide this update, and good evening.
Thank you. Comments or questions from the commission? Okay. Regular items. Previously tabled, consider a resolution reestablishing CCB. Madam Clerk.
Mayor Collins Commission, as you recall, we brought forward the resolution to reestablish the Citizens Conservation Board at your previous regular commission meeting. There was a question posed by the commission regarding the term that was listed in the resolution, establishing a one-year non-consecutive term for HCC representatives to serve on the Citizens Conservation Board. The commission requested that City Attorney Doctor at that time provide some background information and an opinion on that matter. That has since been written and given to all of you. We ask, myself and staff and the city manager ask that you reconsider the reestablishment of the CCB on this current resolution that's in the packet. And we're open to any questions you might have.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor, I wonder really briefly, Madam Clerk, could you maybe review just for us what the communication looked like reaching out to the HCC staff when we inquired about what their process currently was internally and where we are today?
Sure. Commissioner, Mayor Collins, Commissioner Dean. Prior to putting forward the resolution draft, if you recall, a month or so ago at an admin meeting, it was posed by Ms. Hammer as the CCB chair, several questions which you received in a letter. One of those was actually in reference to an HCC representative and how the commission does or does not, if I'm paraphrasing here, so you have to forgive me, I don't have the document in front of me, terms for the HCC reps on the boards. And at that time, I looked into all of the commission documents and records and found that there was no actual written policy on this matter. So I did send an email to the HCC coordinator asking or requesting if there were some policy or some established protocol in writing that the HCC was following. At that time, response was not necessarily, and we are going through a revision of our bylaws at this time, which I believe, I believe is actually ongoing right now. And so that was up for discussion. I think it was brought forward on an agenda for the HCC. And due to the timing of the HCC, or the CCB, excuse me, too many acronyms, the CCB resolution and their sunset date, I think we put forward an opportunity for you all to discuss as part of that resolution any terms, a policy therein. It is the commission's prerogative, as you well know, to change any part of that resolution, including the terms for the HCC. The one-year term was to align the HCC more in with what is a consistent policy with the commission, that you all rotate your commission appointments annually. They're up for review, with the exception this year with Commissioner Shurtleff, who's filling the appointments of Commissioner Fever and has just gotten established on his appointments. So that's the brief background. It was just to bring some consistent appointment process for the HCC that was more closely aligned with what the commission, you as a commission, follow.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate that. Just a couple comments. First, I am really glad that we are considering reestablishing the Citizen Conservation Board. As the commission knows, and I think everybody who's been paying attention, the Citizen Conservation Board in the previous resolution was set to sunset on January 29th of this year. Reestablishing it, I think, is consistent with the goals of the commission and the city in general of improving our efforts in terms of sustainability and continuing to make progress, especially given the millions of dollars in investments that we've been moving forward over the last few years. The other piece of this that I am really excited about includes the 2 youth representatives that are on this advisory board. We are in Montana, we're one of the few states that doesn't actively involve young people at the local level. And this has been a conversation at the State League of Cities and Towns. Montana is one of the few states to not actually have youth representation at a national summit of young people involved in local government. And we know that the more opportunities we provide for young people to get involved in their local community, the more likely they are to be invested community members as they grow up and become engaged citizens and adults in their community. So I'm very excited to have this included in this resolution. The other piece that I'm going to be very happy to vote on this. We've been working really hard over the last 1.5 years to bring consistency across the advisory boards. One, it's going to lessen confusion across not just the staff, but the citizenry who engage and volunteer their time within these advisory boards. It makes it really difficult when there's different procedures and policies and rules for every single advisory board. And it's a better opportunity for the commission to engage with these advisory boards and really take action based on some of the advice that they provide. So this has been a very purposeful exercise and action to bring consistency across these boards, to ensure that we are being the most, not just efficient, but effective commission that we can be in engaging with the volunteers that help serve on these boards. So very appreciative to all the work that has gone into this. This resolution is a lot more than just about the CCB. It's really the first big step in us streamlining our advisory boards and making sure that they can be effective pieces of local government. So thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any others? Mr. Mayor. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you. I appreciate Commissioner Dean's comments and agree wholeheartedly with them. Thank you. I kind of hate to put a person on the spot, but we did get on Thursday a sort of the answer to the legal question of, whether we could set these term limits. And I was wondering if, for the purpose of just informing the public, kind of a summary of that answer.
Yes, Mayor and Commissioner Logan, City Attorney Doctor drafted a legal opinion regarding this question, and the short version of it is that the Helena Citizens Council has members that are elected as provided in city charter. However, the city charter does not establish membership of the HCC on advisory boards. Rather, the commission has a broad authority to create or dissolve those boards, as well as establish or amend the membership. So looking at both city code, the city charter, as well as state law and the United States and Montana constitutions, we see nothing that amends or limits your discretion as a policy matter on how to establish these boards the way that the city's proposed, or in any other way. Really, there's broad discretion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any others? Okay, at this, do we have any public comments? Madam Clerk, would you check, please?
Mr. Mayor, I do have one hand raised online, Denise Barber.
Okay, you have the floor, Denise.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the commission.
Good evening.
I just have more questions really than comments, but what we've been hearing for the past year, possibly even 2 years, is that the city wishes to bring into alignment all of the advisory boards. And that's fine, no problem with that. But it doesn't make sense to me that the CCBs, the proposition or resolution before you, there are no less than 3 term limits in this resolution, the most punitive or limiting being the HCC. This 1 year doesn't make any sense, but regardless. Then you have a 3-year term but then for the youth, it's a 2-year term. So already within the CCB, it kind of goes against the spirit of uniformity that there are 3 different limits. So I just want to raise that point, but also I want to also raise a question to you, which is when you impose term limits on all of the other advisory boards, which the city has yet to do. We've talked to multiple people on advisory boards. They have yet to be approached or informed that they have term limits coming down the pike. Which of the 3 limits in the CCB's resolution are going to be applied to all of the other advisory boards? And I want to just make one final point, which is I understand term limits, the spirit of them, as I mentioned last time, is to promote participation, and that's fine. I'm not really against term limits per se, but when you impose a term limit of 1 year for the HCC, the net effect is you're going to do the opposite. We are going to have a hard time as a body filling the many advisory board seats that the HCC fits on year after year after year. They are going to be vacant, is my reading of the tea leaves and my experience being on the HCC for over a decade now. So, it's one of those, be careful what you wish for. If you insist on a 1-year term limit for the HCC and the CCB, is that going to be applied to all HCC representatives on all advisory boards? Are you really going to tell the HCC nobody could stay on there for longer than a year? So I suggest you consider at the very least a 2-year term limit for HCC reps on all advisory boards. And I would like to know when all of the other advisory boards are going to have their limits imposed on them, not just the CCB. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Public comments? Madam Clerk.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioner, I have no other public comment online.
Okay. At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approval of resolution rescinding resolution 20375 and reestablishing the Citizens Conservation Board as a City of Helena advisory board.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion from the commission? Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Dean.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Shurtleff.
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Okay. I see environmental regulations pre-treatment manager Lee Anderson. Madam Clerk, what's going on here? See, I'm a little confused with this.
Mr. Mayor, I believe that Leah Anderson was a part of that previous item. So if I understand the agenda so far, we've completed the item A now, item B on regular items. And so we would be moving on to item C, which is consider an ordinance establishing the burning regulations. I apologize.
Okay.
I think it's just that it's carried over to the next page.
Consider an ordinance establishing burning regulations within the city of Helena. City Attorney?
Yes, Mayor and Commissioners, you had this item on your agenda a couple of months ago as a initial presentation. In order to be passed into city code, it needs to be voted on tonight as well in a public hearing.
Thank you. Comments or questions from the commission? Do we have any public comments? Madam Clerk,
I have no public comment online.
I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I move to approve the final adoption of an ordinance establishing burning regulations within the city of Helena.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Dean.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Shertliff.
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Consider a sidewalk variance request to allow curbside sidewalk and drive approach at 410 Raymond Street. Director Knopke.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. This is a pretty quick and straightforward request. This 410 Raymond Street does not currently have sidewalks. They are requesting the variance because they're looking to redo their driveway approach. And whether or not we allow the variance for the placement of the sidewalks curbside versus boulevard will impact their construction methods that they're going to need to employ. The entrance to this property is fairly steep as properties go, so if we were to require the 7-foot boulevard, that would push that driveway approach back farther and thus make it steeper, potentially requiring a retaining wall and redesign of their landscaping. In addition, the alley would have to be elevated because of the different location of the sidewalk. So in this case, they're requesting a variance for the placement of the sidewalk to be curbside. There are curbside sidewalks just to the south. The next property has curbside sidewalks. There's properties down just up the block from them that have curbside sidewalks, so it fits with what the neighborhood is already seeing. There are drawbacks to curbside, as we've talked before. You know, there's not the vegetative barrier for pedestrians using the sidewalks. There's not the snow storage during the winter. But in this case, looking at the additional costs that would come about and the struggle for the boulevard sidewalks, and with the curbside sidewalk being right next to there, it's our recommendation that you approve the placement for sidewalk variance request and to allow that curbside sidewalk. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Commissioners, questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor, I do have a question. Director Crompie, I took a drive past the property, and we've talked about this in previous meeting about how cul-de-sacs present even more difficulties in terms of snow storage and removal. It looked like there were a number of difficulties on this street already with snow storage because there are those curbside sidewalks. One of the other things that was a little bit more alarming was when you get to the end of the cul-de-sac, the way it's arranged is folks do not park parallel to the property lines, but they park perpendicular into the cul-de-sac, which presents a whole nother set of issues beyond the snow removal issues that we've already talked about. And then there's another property that's, I guess, what would be 2 houses down from this that are all, it's vacant property that has postings that, construction coming or primed for redevelopment. There's just old foundations there right now. So variances always give me pause, as you know. This one gives me extra pause because when those properties are redeveloped, if we continue variances like this and they're all curbside, are we perpetuating the snow storage issue into that cul-de-sac into the future, given the difficulties we already know?
Mayor and Commission, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Commissioner. Curbside sidewalks present a number of challenges. And as far as the cul-de-sacs, we do have currently a survey out there through the Be Heard Helena to ask folks of Helena what they would prefer for snow plowing, because we've heard some different ideas on how we could accomplish that. So we're reaching out there. You know, in this particular situation next to the alley and the elevation that this home presents, I think it's a candidate for curbside sidewalks. And as we proceed up the roadway, where the properties tend to flatten out a bit, then when the sidewalks are installed, at that point, we could make that boulevard to accommodate, the vegetation and the snow storage. In this particular case, the topography would be a challenge for both the alley and the homeowner. It's not insurmountable, but it would be a challenge. And I'm a proponent of boulevard sidewalks, and in this case, I think this could be a candidate for curbside sidewalks just due to the circumstances.
Thank you. Any other comments? Do you have any public comments? Madam Clerk,
I have no public comment online.
I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I'd move to approve a sidewalk variance request to allow a curbside sidewalk and drive approach at 410 Raymond Street.
Commissioners, I need to know whether is there a second or not?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any final discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
if I might, I am conflicted on this one. I also am not generally supportive of variances on sidewalks. I wonder if Director Knopke, could you just, you gave me 75% of the information I hope to hear, and I just want to make sure I'm correct. Is what you're saying that it is possible in this case, given the layout, which unfortunately I was not able to see, that we would be able to achieve maybe not ideal sidewalks, but acceptable connectivity from a snow removal, walkability perspective, et cetera, if we were to do boulevards in the rest of the street, but that this one piece is not critical to achieving a minimum standard of acceptable sidewalkness, for lack of a better term?
Mayor and Commission, yes. We could also look at reduced sidewalk or boulevard width at this location, but again, it's one of those steeper ones that does have a lot of elevation climb very quickly. And but we could work with the applicant if need be and see what we could come up with. But I do think as we move forward down the street, we could probably get boulevards in on some of those locations. The cul-de-sac that Commissioner Dean brought up is one of our, I wouldn't say problem, but there are issues with the cul-de-sacs having driveway, mailbox, where there's no snow storage. So we're looking at different options moving forward in the engineering standards to try to not only accommodate boulevards at the cul-de-sacs, but also accommodate development, so.
Thank you.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion from the commission?
Mr. Mayor, I also too want to voice my confliction with this. I'm a proponent of, like you said, with boulevard sidewalks, but connectivity within our city and trying to connect more of Helena via sidewalks, making it more accessible and safer. With this, Director Konopke, what is the timeline to put in these sidewalks?
Mayor and Commission, I should clarify, this is only for the driveway approach. Their plans are only to fix their driveway approach at this point and not install sidewalks. But having the variance for the location type of driveway, whether it's curbside versus boulevard, would determine what they would be doing in the future.
So, Mr. Mayor, that prompts another question if I could ask.
Please.
And you're the engineer. So I guess I'm wondering, you couldn't tell the state of the sidewalks very well on either side of the houses, but from a cursory glance with where they were snow covered, I have a feeling some of them might not be meet our slip, trip, and fall precautions. So what I'm wondering is it possible when this homeowner puts in a sidewalk in front of the house, because there is no sidewalk right now.
Correct.
Is that the opportunity to maybe have a boulevard that is maybe a smaller width that then meets the drive approach that is curbside? I guess it was not clear to me that it was just for the drive approach. I thought it was for the entire length of the property.
Mayor and Commissioners, I apologize for not making that clear. It is just for them to fix their drive approach. If they were to keep it curbside and then have to transition out to Boulevard, the project or the property to the south already has curbside sidewalks, so that would be a weird connection because it would go out and then come back in. I don't think it's insurmountable, but I don't think we're gonna gain a lot unless we get the property owner to the south to push their sidewalks out to Boulevard. And really, within the general area, that is the only sidewalks. If you looked at that four corners of that alley, the only sidewalk is that one piece to that one property just to the south. So, setting the tone for boulevards, the city code specifically calls out that there will be a 7-foot boulevard and that the only variance is for the placement, which is either 1 foot from or somewhere between the curbside and the 1 foot from the property line. I think we can accomplish boulevards where we can moving forward and making, some meandering to tie into the curbside where there's already existing. As far as the ADA compliance, I can't say because again, with the winter, we didn't go out and double check if that sidewalk was in compliance. So.
Okay. And I'll just say, it gives me pause just given that there's a property directly, basically 200 feet, not even 200 feet to the south that from the street looks like where 3 foundations were, they're kind of falling apart, but where 3 foundations exist and there's no sidewalks. So it worries me that when there is development on that property, those property owners come to us and say, well, you gave them a variance. Why aren't we getting one?
Mayor and Commissioners, I agree. I think I counted only actually 2 or 3 properties along that whole stretch, including the cul-de-sac that have sidewalks.
Yeah.
So that is a area that is primed to say that we're requiring boulevards, whether that's the full 7 foot or going down to the 4 foot that allows in the engineering standards to accommodate some of these variables. But I don't disagree that boulevard sidewalks are what is needed in the majority of town. I think there are going to be areas that we're going to have to compromise on that boulevard sidewalks just for a lot of these variables, topography or buildings that are already too close to accommodate the boulevard. So, but I know that sounded pretty wishy-washy on the boulevards versus curbside, but we could work with the property owner if you wish. I don't think that they're going to be constructing anytime soon. If you want us to reach out to them, we could possibly table this or bring this back and work with them to see if we can get maybe some type of boulevard in there to start perpetuating the boulevard sidewalks in that area.
Mr. Mayor, I know that this has been moved and seconded, but if there were interest from the rest of the commission for that opportunity to reach out, even if it's a smaller boulevard or some sort of plan moving forward, that's something I'd be supportive of. It's a neighborhood that does have a lot of activity anyway. And there's apartment building to the northwest, I guess, where a lot of folks live. So if there's not interest in withdrawing the motion, that's fine, but that's something I'd be interested in if anyone on the commission
Commissioners?
also.
Mr. Mayor, I'd be supportive of tabling and seeing if there's the opportunity to do something with boulevards as well. Thank you.
So it's only 2 of you?
Oh man. I was the one that made the second, but in light of that information too, you know, you want to work with the property owner, but also too, you look at the future of the development down there. But, you know, taking your opinion, and not just your opinion, but it's your expertise and what you've done. There's potential development there, but also too, making the case for topography, for season, for area of town. You know, yes, boulevards are the standard, but if having, you know, looking at curbside has its pros and cons, boulevards has its pros and cons. Like you said, this is an older part of town. There's parts where the property is right up against the road. You don't have the opportunity for boulevards, and I don't know, gives me pause too. If they're not like itching to get this done now, or are they? I don't think, you know, they're not. Okay. I'm in favor of taking a moment and thinking about this and working with the property owner.
So, Mr. Mayor, just a question. We have a motion that's been moved and seconded.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Can it be tabled?
I'm going to find out from the county attorney right now. City attorney.
Yes, Mayor and Commissioners, I would suggest that the motion be substituted.
So, I guess I'll just say that I was comfortable with the request, and
Myself.
that hasn't changed, but, you know, if there's some mechanism that the majority of the commission sort of overrules that motion.
Yes, Mayor and Commissioners, you can move to table the motion in front of you.
So who gets to do that?
So with all due respect to Commissioner Logan, I'd like to make a substitute motion to table with the direction to staff to reach out to the property owner to find out what solutions we might be able to find before the construction season is anywhere near.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? From the final discussion, before the final discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Dean.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Shertliff.
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Nay.
The motion to table carries 4-1.
Is there anyone from the public wishes to address the commission? Madam Clerk, do we have anybody online?
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, I don't appear to have any public comment online.
Any final discussion from the commission? This meeting is adjourned.